Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Foothill Paint Fabrication. Well, believe it or not, it's been a whole year since I took Ruby up to Oregon and got her back home all nice and clean and stripped, and she still looks fantastic. But really, I got to quit screwing around. She's not going to stay like that forever. We need to get things done and get some epoxy on her. So today we're going to go ahead and work on the firewall. We've got the windshield wiper mount hole to fill in, the old heater fan hole on the other side, and I've been working on a few small things here and there just to get it prepped up. But before we get into the firewall work, let's do a quick update on the budget and where we stand. We got some good news in that, and then we can get to work on this and finish this thing off. Okay guys, let's do a quick update here. We're at $10,282.13. We've increased $690 since the last update. So the good news is that the hood and the radiator support finally came in, and it took, I thought it was 6 to 9 months. It took a year. Look at that. Took a whole year for those to come in. So that's a lesson for you guys to learn. If you need parts, order them as soon as possible, as soon as you start your project, because if you're waiting a year like I did and it's holding up your project, you're not going to be happy. So I also got the body bushings came in from OPGI. They were on back order, so those came in. And then the glass quarter run channel, that took 4 months to come in. I was kind of worried that I wasn't going to get it. They kept giving me some weird messages on that, but it finally showed up. I think that's the only place I can get it from OPGI. Now the taillight lens gaskets I had originally ordered from OPGI, and it was probably 6 or 8 months, and then they finally told me their supplier no longer supplies it to them. So I had to go to Ames Engineering. I paid $78 at Ames Engineering. It was only $16, $15 at OPGI, but you got to do what you got to do. Muscle Car Central, I did door hinge detent arms. Metal supply is just assorted sheet metal for patch panels and the like. OPGI, while I drove all the way down there, I went ahead and got a dash pad. Mine split and ruined, so that was $268.20. And then the junkyard, the seat belts you guys saw me put in. Amazon is where I got that Jeep wiper motor. That was $33.46 with tax and everything. And then the wiper switch I got through Yogi's on eBay, and that was $112.94 with tax. So there's no other updates on the other sections, but yeah, we're slowly creeping up, $10,282. So let's move on back to the car and get some work done. All right, on the last video, we got the hidden windshield wiper motor down inside the cowl here for 140 bucks, so super cool deal. If you haven't seen that video, check it out. But now we need to fill in this hole, get that ugly hole, so this thing is gonna be nice and flat, smooth all the way across the whole firewall. I went ahead and got some work done, preliminary. There was kind of a seam right here where this one overlaid this piece. So I got the TIG welder out and I hammered this around and I welded that up and ground it smooth. This hole right here, I think we're gonna cut a little plug and weld that in, grind that smooth as well. I think those were alignment pins when they were building. Some people call them drains. I don't know what it's draining, but we're gonna fill it in. And then the other thing we need to do is take care of this hole right here. Now I will be running the air conditioning and heater hoses through here inside the fender and back over so you don't see them. But I do need to cut this out and weld this up. We'll drill the holes for the lines later after we got epoxy, but I do need to get this filled in. I don't want to, you know, like Vintage Air has like a plastic cover that screws on there. I'm not going to use that. So we'll weld that in and just drill holes ourselves. But that's really the plan for today. Get those like 4 holes taken care of, and then kind of sweeten up the rest of this firewall, and I think we're just about done. All right guys, you can see some chalk lines here. I just did some preliminary layout just to figure out how big a piece of sheet metal I was going to need and kind of figure out how I'm going to do this. Now I do not want to cut too far into this piece because that rolls up from inside here, and there's going to be seam sealer where all these pieces of sheet metal down in the windshield wiper cowl meet, because obviously we do not want that to leak. And since it was dipped, all that stuff's been removed. So I want to cut along here and here, and then just probably leave this lip just a little bit. It's not going to interfere with anything on the inside. And we will be welding to the piece of 16 gauge right here, so this will all, you know, be flush. So I think the first step, since we can't really cut this out and hold a piece back there and scribe it to make it fit, what we'll do is we'll just do the reverse. So I'll make some poster board template of this, make it out of sheet metal, and then we'll lay that sheet metal up here and scribe the car and cut it out. So let me get that poster board knocked out real quick. We'll see how this is going to fit up in here. All right, we're going to change the game plan just a little bit. I don't want to try to make a piece of sheet metal that matches this right here. because I cut that kind of funky to go around this hole. So I'm going to attempt to cut a nice straight line right here. We'll cut down and just get this piece of 16 gauge off and then leave the original sheet metal and then kind of figure where we're at. So let's get that cut off real quick. All right, not too bad. So you can see right here, here's the, this is actually the pan of the windshield wiper cowl. Comes up and folds up to make it watertight. So we're looking pretty good. Let me clean this up a little bit and then we'll get our template cut to match this area. All right, we got that looking pretty good. Sitting right on top of that cut. So we got that worked out really well. All right, I'm gonna turn this piece of poster board into a piece of 18 gauge sheet metal and then we'll come back and scribe it and get it cut in. All right, we got the plate cut, got some Sharpie on there, and I got it scribed. So all we have to do is make the cut. So I'm gonna make that cut off camera real quick. It's gonna be tedious. I've gotta make sure I don't go in too deep on some spots and deep on others, but yeah, let me get that cut and I'll bring you right back. All right, we got that cut. It's got a nice clean cut along here. I think I did pretty good. Along here I just came down. There's a little bit of a ledge here like I spoke of. I don't want that little water dam right there being interrupted and they get in between here. If water flows over, I don't want to get it in between and running down inside the car. So we're going to be able to weld this up pretty tight and then this will still act as a water dam. And then when we get seam sealer, I'll reach in there and put some seam sealer right against this, up against the piece we're putting on right now. So it's sealed up super tight so we don't get any water coming down inside the car anywhere. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get the roll-lock out here, get this cleaned up super nice, and then we're gonna start fitting up that panel and see if we can get it welded in. All right, guys, we got that fitted in there pretty nicely. It's looking really good. And I was a little concerned it wouldn't lay too flat and have a nice transition, but it's looking really good along there. So let's get the TIG welder out and get this thing tacked on there. All right, we got the tedious process of getting it tacked. It's actually laying on there pretty flat. The patch was actually flatter than the car, so I had to kind of tweak it a little bit to try to get it to match. We're gonna have to float this whole thing with some body filler anyways, but I certainly want it as flat as possible right from the start. All right, let's get this thing welded up. All right, we got it welded. Some impurities boil out right where this seam was. Boy, I had to fight that quite a bit, but it came out pretty good. Blew a hole up here, I don't know why, but it still looks pretty darn flat. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this ground off camera, get it sanded smooth, and we'll take a look at it. But I'm liking it. Get that big old hole filled in. All right, we're looking pretty good along here. It is a little
high right through here. It kind of warped a little bit. I can actually feel it. It kind of rolls off right here. So we got a high ridge right here. So we're just going to get the dolly in there. It's pretty low right here. Probably on the camera that looks high, but it's low. I can't really hammer it out because there's a lot of structure right here inside. So we're just going to have to fill that area right there. But really not too bad. Just right here. So we'll just take a dolly, we'll put it up on the inside here, try to bridge both, and we'll do some bit of tapping, kind of glancing blows. Moved it up a little bit. Now it's right in here. So I'm holding the dolly right in this area and striking it right here. Not bad back here. It's actually just it keeps moving up on me right here. I'm just going to keep this up, doing dolly off. All right, let's go ahead and try to slap her on it since it's such a large area. I can see the shiny mark if I scratch it. Right there. All right, we got it. Nice and flat this way. Okay, let's sand that up a little bit and we'll move on to the big hole. All right guys, we got that knocked out. Came out pretty flat, pretty happy about that. Let's move over to this one. Now, the fender covers this whole area. So, I mean, the fender comes over to here. So this isn't really visible. You know, the fender well's up underneath here, so you don't really see it. So we don't have to be super critical on this one, but figuring out how to get a patch on here. I can't really hold anything from the back. My arm can't reach up through there and reach around here and scribe. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this lip off, just cut it off, probably with a little reciprocating saw, and just get this whole area flat, maybe even dolly it a little bit. And then we're gonna cut kind of a circle that'll cover that, and then we'll scribe this and then cut that to match. I think it'd be easier. So let me get the saw out, see if we can't cut a nice, decent, halfway decent circle. I have a bad feeling this is not going to look like a circle when I'm done, but we'll give it a shot. All right, see what happens. All right, it resembles a circle, and I got that lip off there. That's what I really wanted. So I'm going to grind this, try to get the rest of it off. And then we're going to figure out how to get a circle cut and put right over the top so we can scribe it. All right, got it hammered flat. It took a lot of work right here. There's 2 or 3 layers of sheet metal right here, so it was really tough to get that to hammer flat, but I got it pretty good. Then just put a Sharpie on it. I cut a piece of 18 gauge, and this is about 5 1/4. And I really considered, I was holding it up here to scribe. I'm like, why don't I just weld that on? You know, on the outside, you're not going to see it. But the problem is where the sheet metal meets in here, water runs down through here, and it could actually get and then hold right up against the weld inside here, because trying to get seam sealer in there may not be so easy. So I'm just going to go ahead and scribe this and either grind to the line or try to cut to the line. I think I'm probably going to use a burr tool and just try to grind up to the line. I'll probably go a little wide and have a gap so it's easier to fit this up, since all we have to do is weld this in, knock the top off the weld, and call it good. So let me get it scribed, cut, and then I'll bring you back when we're trying to get this thing fitted up here for the final time. Okay, we got that fitted in there pretty good. A little bit of a gap there, a little over here. I used that little reciprocating saw and just cut kind of on the line so I didn't have to fine tune it too much. Like I said, it's not going to be seen, so I think we'll just tack it wherever it's flush, like right here. I think it's flush right here. And then we'll just kind of move the magnets around and pry on it. It needs to come out a little bit right here because remember that was bubbled up. But yeah, I think we'll just start tacking it, start hammering on everything, try to get as flat as possible, and then get it all tacked up and get it welded. All right, it popped in and out a couple of times while I was welding it, but it looks like it popped back flat once I got it welded all the way around. Let me take the grinder to it real quick. I'm just gonna smooth it out a little bit. It doesn't matter. I see a hole right there I gotta weld in right now. And anything that shows up, because we want this watertight. So let me take care of that, bring you back, we'll take a look at it. All right guys, that came out pretty nice and flat, everything's looking good. It's got some waves over here from the stamping. I'm not too worried about it. It's watertight and it's sealed up super nice, so that's all we were shooting for. I went ahead and did these two holes right here on each side, so that's all taken care of. And there's only one thing left to do, which I almost forgot. The Hydro Boost little piece right there, I need to weld a lug in there so it won't rotate. We had to grind that off when we basically spun the Hydro Boost upside down. So let's get over there and finish that off, and the firewall will be done. All right guys, let's get this firewall finished off. So I've got my handy dandy adjustable jack stands under both props here, and I've got the chassis zeroed out. So all we have to do, if this is right here, a straight edge across there, and I gotta mess with this until this reads 0. That's pretty, whoop, there we go, perfect. Well, pretty close to perfect. So I put a chalk line right where the groove is on this piece on the Hydro Boost, and I'll just transfer that over with a Sharpie right here, and then we can get the TIG welder out and weld a little I don't know, a lug or whatever you want to call tang sticking out, so this will not rotate. It'll sit in the right perfect position all the time. So let me get that marked up, get this thing back to 0 here. It's kind of finicky, but and then we'll get the welder on here.
All right, let's see what we can do here. A little tight squeeze. All right guys, I think I just about got it. I had to switch over to the MIG welder. The TIG welder was just too hard to get in there, and the MIG welds builds up so fast. That's what I should have been using in the first place. But let me back the camera away and see if we get this thing zeroed out. All right guys, we got it. There's a little bit of play in this thing. I mean, there's not much I can do about that. It wasn't super tight before I worked on it anyway. So once the nut on the backside is tightened up, it'll keep that from rotating while we're driving the car. So pretty happy to get that done, and I think that is the last item on the firewall. Okay guys, that's the last 4 holes on the firewall, and that should be the last welding required on the body, fingers crossed. So I'm really happy to get this done and get moving forward. I'm not so happy that it's taken me a year to get here. I can't believe it's been a year already, but we have gotten a lot of work done on this car. You know, I know it doesn't look like it, but I think it's going to pay off later. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mash that bell and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one.